What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of On the Card presented by TRHS Sports. We're coming off a really solid day and a really crazy day in the world of sports. We went 3-0 on bets. The only bet that didn't hit was the Avalanche first period, which was so frustrating. If you would have told me that the Dallas Stars were only going to score one goal in the first period, and I was going to lose that bet, I would have told you were crazy. I would have thought at worst I would push it, especially since the Avalanche end with 6 goals in that game. 6. They didn't get a single one in the first period. That sucked. But otherwise, we hit everything else. Colorado over 3, obviously. They scored 6. Lightning to win. They win 7-1. Bruins have a serious issue in goal. And the Colorado-Arizona over 9.5 runs for the MLB went over easily. It was sketchy up until the 8th inning. And in the last 2 innings, we got, I want to say it was something like 12 runs or something insane. It was like 4-1 going in. Game ended 8-7. So really good day. Obviously, the NBA didn't play yesterday, as I'm sure everybody knows. So the 6 NBA bets that we had, we don't have. I'm not going to do anything for the NBA today. As far as I know, they're not going to play. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to happen. We'll see what ends up happening moving forward. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to sit here, wait it out. The MLB and NHL are going to play. The MLB in their half-ass attempt to follow suit with the NBA yesterday. 3 of their games are canceled, and all 3 of them are playing doubleheaders today. So to me, it seems like that's not much of a boycott. That's more of a, oh, we feel pressure, so we're going to do this. And then they literally play them the next day. That doesn't really feel like it served much of a purpose in my mind. So the MLB, whatever. But the NHL, they played all of their games as expected, and it looks like they're going to do so again today. So the NBA is really the only one up in the air. We were supposed to have 3 games today. The Raptors and the Celtics were supposed to get their series started. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we're going to stay away from the NBA today. If they do play, great. If they don't, we'll see about it tomorrow. Maybe they'll be back. Maybe they won't. All of that being said, I also didn't write anything over on my website, betonphilwood.com. Did not write anything over there for last night. Just like a little blurb about how I was going to wait till this morning and do all my bets here. Went 0-1 over there yesterday. The only thing I had was the Avs first period. I had the Bucks Magic under 227.5, which obviously never took off. So I'm kind of just waiting to see and make sure that the seasons are going to keep playing out the way they are. To me, it seems like the only one that is seriously in any type of trouble is the NBA. The NHL seems like it's going to go forward, no problem. The MLB seems like yesterday was about the extent of what they were going to do. So we're going to get into today's slate. I did a little research because I wanted to give you guys at least 5 bets here. I got 3 for the MLB and 2 for the NHL. There's 2 NHL games on today. Like I said, because the MLB canceled games yesterday, there's actually a pretty big slate of MLB games today because they're just doing double headers. So I'm going to start off with the Twins taking on our man, Matthew Boyd, and Dobnik is on the mound. Twins minus 1.5 is pretty much even money right now. It's like minus 106, minus 107. I've been fading Matthew Boyd the entire season. Last game, I got burned because I had said first 5 over, and the Indians could not hit him worth crap. So they end up still getting the minus 1.5 in that game, and it is actually a plus 100 now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Twins minus 1.5 at plus 100, mainly just because we're going against Matthew Boyd, and anytime I can go against Matthew Boyd, I'm going to go against Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd is not good. He had a good start last time, but it was more that the Indians were just leaving men on base, not so much because Matthew Boyd pitched lights out. So I got the Twins minus 1.5 in this game. I'm going to do the full game. I learned my lesson last time. I had taken the Indians. That's what it was. I had taken them in the first 5, and they didn't end up winning the first 5. I think they lost the first 5, or they pushed the first 5. And then in the 6th inning, they scored like 6 runs. So good times over there. So I'm going to take the Twins minus 1.5, really just go against Matthew Boyd. Another one I really like is the A's minus 1.5. Chris Bassett is on the mound going against Jordan Lyles for the Rangers. And the A's are one of the best defensive teams in baseball, and the Rangers are one of the worst offensive teams in baseball. Jordan Lyles' ERA is not good, even though he was pretty good against the A's the last time he pitched against them. Bassett, he's been good. He's been solid all season. Since the Rangers aren't really scoring, I like this. I like the A's to only have to put up maybe like 4 in order to cover this minus 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the A's minus 1.5. It's a little bit of a price. It's at minus 120 right now, but I think that that's worth our while. Because they're going to win this game by 2 runs at least. I mean, the Rangers offense is just bad. Their pitching is bad. That's a bad combination when you're a baseball team in the pros. You can't have both bad pitching and bad offense. It's not really going to ever result well. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the A's -1.5 and put that one on the card. Last game I'm going to look at is going to be the Rays taking on John Means and the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Rays have scored 4 runs in their last 3 games, have scored 4 runs in their last 2 against Baltimore, which were their last 2 games. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take their over of 4.5 here. I think that they're going to put up a number on John Means. I feel like their offense has been clicking, just not 100%. And I feel like against John Means, it's a good time to get your offense right. Means hasn't been great this season. He doesn't pitch long into games. That's the biggest problem. In all of his starts or in all of his games so far, the most pitches he has thrown is 4.2 against the Marlins. Against the Yankees, he went 2.1, gave up 5 earned runs. Against the Nationals on the 16th, he went 0.2 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. And against the Red Sox on the 21st, he went 3 innings and gave up 3 runs. I like the Rays to be able to get runs against this guy early. And then I also think that they're going to end up scoring later in the game against the Orioles bullpen. So I do like the Rays to go over 4.5. I think I was expecting it to be at 5.5 since I can get it a run lower than that in an MLB game where the Rays should be able to put some runs on the board. I'm going to go ahead and go with that one. I know 4 seems to be the number the Rays really like to score at, but when they do go off, they go off, and I think this is one of the games where they're going to go off, a little bit of an offensive explosion after 4 straight games, or 3 straight games of 4 runs. So those are my 3 MLB bets for the day. I got the Twins -1.5 at +100, the A's -1.5 at -120, and the Rays over 4.5. As I said, normally I would go to the NBA next. The NBA is not going to play today. I think the lines are actually still out on DraftKings and other Vegas sites. Yeah, they're all out there still. Jazz are favored by 2, Raptors favored by 2.5, Clippers favored by 10, but I don't see any of this going down unless something crazy happens. And if something crazy happens, we'll get in on it tomorrow because I want to see where people's mindsets are when they actually go out to play. I don't know. This is something to just follow. We'll see what they end up deciding to do. But the other sports leagues don't seem like they're going to follow suit. So we're going to go to the NHL where there's 2 games today. Yesterday we had a good 2-1 day. Should have been 3-0 if the Avs could have just scored goals earlier. I don't understand what took them so long. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump over here where there's 2 good games. We got the Flyers taking on the Islanders in game 1 today. Is at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yesterday's game was a lot of fun. 3-3 goes to overtime. I don't know what that means. Why does this channel go from 406 to 407 so often? I don't know what that means. Help. What does that mean, Emmett from Boston? What does that mean? But anyway, so the Islanders and Flyers are playing against each other. The Flyers pulled out the victory yesterday. It was a really, really good game. Pulled it out in overtime. They had a 3-0 lead in the first period, blew it. Islanders came all the way back, and then the Islanders ended up losing in OT. However, the Islanders were the better team for most of that game. If the Flyers don't jump out to the early lead, they lose that game. I went with it with the Lightning yesterday. I went with it with the Avs yesterday. It has worked both times. Right now, the Islanders are playing like the better team. I'm going to take the Islanders to win the game. They're at -110, which is, pretty much as little a favorite as you can possibly be. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Islanders at -110, taking on the Philadelphia Flyers to win this game straight up. I think they're going to get it done. I don't want to touch the over or under in this series because if it does end up being 3-0 again, we've seen both of these games, or both of them should have gone over. The first game should have gone over when they pulled the goalie, and then there was no goal for the last 8 minutes. But I get worried that if it is a lopsided game, we're going to see a lot of extra scoring late in the fourth or in the third. We saw 6 goals yesterday in the Avalanche Stars game in the third period. Really crazy stuff. So I'm just going to take the Islanders to win and just go with that. It's not an inflated number, so I'm okay with it. I'll take that. And then we go to the last game of the day, which is the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I was spot on with my opinion on the Canucks. If you watched after game 1, if you read over on betonphilwood.com, I had written about how the Canucks are a resilient team. They're going to come back, they're going to bounce back, and they're going to score goals in this game. And they did. They win it 5-2 over the Vegas Golden Knights. They looked really good. They came out and dominated from the start. They are a team that is resilient and can make a serious run here. The over-under, though, has gone all the way up to 6 because of all of this. And I like the under here. I'm going to take the under of 6. These are two teams that can score without a doubt. But I also think it barely went over in the last game. When the Canucks probably scored the most goals, they're going to score the entire series. I don't see the Canucks getting another 5 spot put up on them either. So I'm figuring at worst it's a 4-3 overtime game, and we're really bummed because we lost it by a goal. But I do think that this is the game that's more of the potential to be like a 3-1, 2-1, 4-1, something like that. Even if it goes all the way up to 6 goals, we're going to end up pushing. So I really like the under here. I think it's the safer bet. I think it's the better bet. And I'm going to go ahead and put the under on the Vegas Golden Knights and Vancouver Canucks of 6 goals. Put that one on the card. So those are my 5 bets for the day. We'll see what ends up happening with the NBA. Maybe we'll have some more bets tomorrow. I'll be doing an edition of the 5 tonight as long as the MLB and NHL games go off as planned today. This way I can actually plan for what's going to happen tomorrow and know what's going to happen. So check that out on betonphilwood.com. Follow me on Twitter. It's down there in the bottom, but at Phil_Wood_Jr. I'll give you updates or any bets that I like for any game anywhere. I don't care. It'll be fun. I'll give you a side, even if I don't really like it. And I'll tell you, hey, I don't really like this. So it's not like I'm just going to throw stuff at you. But that's really all I got for today. It's a shorter episode. Yesterday was a big episode. And then we only got 4 of the 10 bets in anyway. So today, 5 bets. We'll see what ends up happening with the NBA. And I'll see you probably tomorrow, because if the NBA does come back, here's the way it's going to go. If the NBA comes back, I will be back tomorrow on the card. If the NBA doesn't come back, I'm going to take tomorrow off, because with just a few NHL games and then the MLB, I'll just write about it because I'm not going to have very many bets anyway. So make sure to follow me on Twitter to find out what's going to be going on. Follow TRHS Sports. Blenty just said, what you think of the Jays tonight? Now I got to go take a look and see what I think about the Jays tonight. I will say the Jays are a team that I haven't really followed so far this year. All right, let's see who's on the mound. So we got Chris Mazza. All right, I'm doing my research as we talk. This wasn't a game that jumped out to me at all. All right, so the last start for Mazza was a 3-inning 4-run beat down by the end. So he's only pitched against the Yankees so far. So it's tough to actually understand what he's going to be like this year. He's only pitched against the Yankees so far this season. Meanwhile, let's look at the Blue Jays. Man, I would go with the Blue Jays for sure. And I think the number of 10 is really high. You know what I would probably do on a game like this, and I know Ryu gave up runs earlier in the season, but his last 4 starts have been great. I mean, he went 5, 6, 6, and 5, gave up 0, 1, 1, and 1. That's really good. I mean, unless we're going to have the law of averages come into effect here, my opinion would be to go with the Blue Jays, probably at the -1.5, which is -110, or I would just take the where is it? The Red Sox team total. What is the Red Sox? That's too low. I was going to say I would take the Red Sox team total at 4.5, but it's at 3.5, so that's too low. Yeah, I would just go with the Blue Jays. You could always do a lead after 3 innings or something like that, where it's the Blue Jays -120, Red Sox +210, tie +350. You would lose on a tie, but I don't know. I just feel like this is destined for the Blue Jays to win. So I would here's the bets that I would do for this game, and I'm not going to put any of them on the card. And again, you're seeing how I'm literally looking at this right now. But Ryu's been great in his last 4 starts. And he's going against the Red Sox team that doesn't really score all that well. So I'm going to go ahead and I would tell you, with my advice, it would be go with the -1.5 if you want for the Blue Jays. That's one that I would think about. The second one I would think about would be doing a first 5 Blue Jays to win, which is -162. So I'd probably do like a first 3 -120, which I think is much better. And total runs under 5.5 for the first 5 innings. That seems reasonable. I mean, Mazza's only gone against the Yankees. So are we really going to punish him for going against the Yankees when they were at like full strength? It wasn't like they were just dead. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I would say that you could probably, those are the bets that I would give. So I hope that helped. I mean, I'm not putting any of those on my card, but that's where I would go with that. I am a believer that the Blue Jays will win that game for sure. as long as the bullpen or something doesn't blow it late. But 225 as a regular money line is a little too big for me. If you want to parlay it with something, that could be a little bit more worthwhile. So anyway, I'll see everybody on the card tomorrow morning if the NBA is back. And if not, just follow me on Twitter at Phil Wood Jr. Follow me on my website, betonphilwood.com, and I'll let you know what's going on with everything. So thanks for tuning in, and hope you guys go out there and win some big money. I know Russell did yesterday, so I hope everybody is paying attention, because yesterday was a really, really good day. And right now I've won 10 of my last 12 bets. That's pretty awesome. See everybody.